What is up? It is me, the Yellow Penguin, and welcome to the 2024 Apple Collection. Now, I haven't done one of these since probably July, it's been about 2.5 years since I last have done one, and my collection's changed quite a bit, so I decided that today we're going to make an updated tour for 2024. This will be featuring iPhones, iPads, Apple Watches, iPods, computers, boxes, accessories. This will include basically most things Apple I own. I'm saying most things, so I'm definitely gonna miss things here and there. But yeah, so let's go and get started. Alright, let's go and get started with my iPhone collection. Now this has changed drastically, some for the better or for worse, so there might be some devices that you recognize that may no longer be here. If you want to know what it looked like in the past, go ahead and check out last time's Apple video, which will be linked in the description, which I might be referring to at some points. So we'll go and get started. First of all, right here, I have this 8GB iPhone 2G right here. We got an iPhone 2G right here. So as you can see, it is jailbroken. So everything's not going off from the Apple ID. Joe was trying to hope that happened. But anyways, this is an 8GB model. Here, it's in fair condition. So then if we go to settings, right here, so you can see, we go to About, and it is on iOS or iPhone OS 3.1.2. So yes, it's an iPhone 2G, 8GB, sold from AT&T, which of course, here the iPhone was on it by this point. It's unlocked. It's on US Mobile currently, or it would be on US Mobile. However, the SIM card never works ever. So yeah, this is an iPhone 2G. It's one of the newest devices I got. I got it a few weeks ago for Christmas, and yeah, I really enjoy it. Next up is a phone we're not going to be turning on in this video. This is, however, an iPhone 3GS right here. It's also an 8GB model on iOS 6.1.6, and the reason we're not turning it on is because it has an expanding battery, which is why the screen popped out. Now, unbeknownst to me in 2021, I didn't actually realize it was an expanding battery. But thank you to the comments, especially iTunes Fanboy, who pointed out that it was an expanding battery. However, in that video, I do turn on the phone, so if you want to see it, there it is. It's in pretty rough condition because everything is falling apart, so I desperately need a new battery in this phone. Either way, it's a 2011 variant, 8GB, AT&T, black, iOS 6.1.6, all that stuff. It's in fine condition. Next up, here we have this iPhone 4 CDMA. So yes, here it is, an iPhone 4 CDMA. You know this because it has no SIM card slot, which was either sold on Verizon and later Sprint. This is a white gigabyte iPhone 4 CDMA, and it is on iOS 7.1.2. And so it has an 8GB model, it's an iPhone 4 white. There's nothing really special about this. It's jailbroken, and that's about it special. I've done some framework settings. But other than that, it's something special. I updated this from iOS 7.0.4 a while back, and I regret it horribly, but that's fine. I got this phone back in 2019. Next up, here we have an iPhone 4S. This is one of three right here, and as you can see, the back is completely shattered. This is a 16GB model in black, unlocked from AT&T. Now, as it has service right here, and it currently has a TracFone T-Mobile SIM card in here because we still have the Edge network. So this was source service. However, among that, it is on iOS 6.1.3. As you can see, it's a 16GB model. This is one of my favorite iPhones. It's jailbroken, but I don't have much on here. But it is jailbroken. I have some utilities. There's not that much on here. I have some games on here that I enjoy, like Peggle, for example. It's a really fun game. In the past, it's been delisted. Got a bunch of old Apple apps, YouTube, Netflix, speed test, Find My iPhone, all these old apps. This alien blue thing is basically right. It still works, which is kind of cool. This Canvas app is a really old version of my school's LMS, which I thought was kind of interesting. I also do have, not that much, I do have some music too on this phone, so that's some cool. It's kind of cool. I got this one a long time ago, probably about 2015. Next up, we have a new phone in the list. This is another iPhone 4S, as you can see right here. Although this one's kind of special because this one's on iOS 7 right here. So we'll go ahead and go to settings and about. It's also a 64GB model, which is pretty cool, but this is an iPhone 4S on iOS 7.0.4, unlocked from Verizon. It does not have a SIM card in here, although from the CDMA technology, it does show service. Also unlocked, I'm 99% sure it's unlocked. I have actually never inserted a SIM card, so it might be locked, but we'll never know. But yes, it went straight for searching instead of no SIM, so that's kind of cool. I've got this phone in 2022. It has some old apps, especially like apps I played when I was a kid. I mean, my sister used to play. We shared an Apple ID, so it was just fun going through these and just testing them out. This is one of my favorite iPhones I own. And yeah, this is one of the newer iPhones. This is the new iPhone that was on the last video. Next up, here we have this iPhone 4S. This is the most boring one of them all, in my opinion. This is a white 8GB model. Why? I try to prevent this from happening. But anyways, this is a 4S. It is an 8GB model, unlocked from AT&T. It is currently on iOS 9.3.5, as you can see, because iOS 9.3.6 I hate when jailbreaking, although the irony is this one is not even jailbroken right now. Usually it is. But anyway, yeah, it's just a boring iPhone. This is my first cell phone with actual service, and you might remember in the last video it had AT&T coverage. Since 3G is gone, it no longer has any service, and I finally upgraded that line, or canceled actually, which is a good thing, but yeah. Next up, here we have another new phone. This is an iPhone SE right here, which yes, it's on the charger, which I'll explain in a moment. So it's an SE. It's an SE Rose Gold, as you can see right here. And it's on an older version of iOS, which we'll talk about in just a moment. It has some apps installed, as you can see. Let's go through utility, just go through the folder, see the old music app, feedbacks to block iOS updates. And that is because this is an iPhone SE on iOS 13.7. Along with that, it also is a 128GB model, which is pretty cool. Now, the only downside about this iPhone is that it has a really bad battery. See, the health is 90 according to this, but it really isn't. So you got battery message, peak performance is enabled, so it's really bad. The battery lasts like maybe 5 seconds unplugged, and if I do leave it unplugged and it dies, it will not turn on for weeks at a time. So it's one time I actually have to turn on. So yeah, and that's a really good phone. It's unlocked from Verizon, if I didn't mention that already. Yeah, the reason this phone battery is so bad though is because it sat in storage for a while before I got it in 2023 in May. But yeah, it's a pretty good phone. I would use it. I'd love it. I could use it a lot more if I had a good battery, so that might be upgraded in the future. Next up, here we have my iPhone 6 right here. This is a silver iPhone 6. Right here, as you can see. And so yeah, this one's kind of special in my opinion because it's my first iPhone. Or my first, well, not actual phone because the 4S was, but this was my main phone for a little bit. It's on iOS 12.5.5 and is a 16GB model. It's an iPhone 6 silver, unlocked from AT&T. And yeah, it's not much special about this one. I got a new case for it recently, just kind of, yeah, see, it's kind of cool. I enjoy it. I think it's a good phone. It served its time, although iPhone 6s are pretty bad these days. This phone, it's a good phone. There's not much to say about it. Again, if you were kicked out any of these other phones, I'm not talking too much detail in, I'm sorry, I don't have much to say. However, you can check the last video. Next up, here we have this iPhone 10 right here, which, as you can see, here it is. Nothing special on it. So this phone has a unique story. It's a silver iPhone 10. It's on iOS 16.4.1 and is a 64GB model, and it is currently on Text Now, which is the T-Mobile branded carrier essentially. If you don't know what Text Now is, it's a VoIP app basically, and they ship out SIM cards you can put in phones to use, so it's kind of cool. I don't really use it ever. I just got a free SIM card and I put it in the phone and it works, so yeah, it's kind of cool. This one is unlocked from AT&T. It's my mom's old cell phone until she got her new phone a few years ago. And this phone has, unfortunately, a defect, which is a known issue from Apple, or was at least, which it has a screen defect, which was either ghost touching or not responding. This phone has ghost touch. And it freaks out horribly, and it's not doing it now, which of course it isn't, but trust me, oh, I lied. it's doing it. But yes, see, like, it does all this stuff on its own. It's like, it gets like really bad. And this was covered by Apple until they closed their replacement program a few months ago, so now it's basically screwed. This basically affected iPhone 10s from 2018, basically, so before they stopped selling the iPhone 10. So yeah, unfortunately this one is stuck in this. It's a silver, but other than that, I mean, hey, it's fine. I wouldn't say it works fully, but yeah, that's not much to say about this phone. Next up, this is a new addition. This is an iPhone XR, a different one. This is my old phone case, by the way. So here we go. This is an iPhone XR. It's in blue, and it's also a 64GB model. This one is on UBG, which is also a T-Mobile branded eSIM, which I have installed to have service. This phone is unlocked from AT&T. The battery health is 85, and I forgot to mention that one's also 85 and this one's 90. So yes, that's the battery health on these phones. This one is currently on the latest version of iOS 17 on 7.2.1. It's also a 128GB model. Now it's 64. So yes, this phone has not much of an interesting backstory because I did get this to someone to borrow when they broke their iPhone. So I had just got this back a few months ago, so I haven't done much to it, which is including iOS essentially. But yeah, it's a good phone. It's nice. It's my sister's old phone before she went to her new phone. So yeah. Next up, we have my old personal iPhone. This is my iPhone XR, which I can see currently has Visible on it, which is a Verizon carrier. On it. So it has some apps on here, nothing special realistically. Yeah, it's a good phone. It does everything I need it to do, which is kind of nice. It's a good backup phone, although unfortunately the battery health has gotten really degraded over time. And it is at 77% battery health with peak performance and the battery message, which isn't surprising because the phone almost has 1,000 charge cycles. So I have used the crap out of this phone for sure. It's on iOS 17.2.1. It's on your 20GB model, and yeah, I use this phone basically for messing around. And when it's summer, I use it for iOS beta testing. So it's a good phone. I enjoy it. It's iPhone 10. Alright, our next device is an iPhone 8 Plus, which has virtually doesn't have much to talk about. It has a dead battery and a dead NAND. So for that, it doesn't turn on at all. And if it did have a dead NAND, it's unlocked from Verizon 256GB space gray iPhone 8 Plus. I got this back in July as well. So yeah, nothing special about this phone. Doesn't work. Last but not least, here we have my personal cell phone, which is my iPhone 14 Pro, 120GB silver. On AT&T right now. So then if we go ahead and go to the battery health, it's currently at 89% because I am a phone hog and I use my phone way too much. It's on the latest version of iOS 17, so on 17.2.1, and it has 120GB of storage on here. Which that does conclude all of my iPhones in my collection. But I'm including this video. This is a framed iPhone 5 from Grid. And I'm including this only just because it is a legitimate iPhone that they took apart. There's an IMEI there in the frame. It has every single part, and these are really cool. I'll link in the description if you are interested in checking one out. They're not an affiliate link or sponsor or anything like that. I just find them really cool. So yeah, that is all the iPhones. Welcome to the iPad part of my collection, which is not that big, but we saw some iPads. So we have this right here, which are basically broken iPads, or not fully functioning. These sides are fully functioning, or mostly functioning at least, not all fully functioning. We're going to start off with the broken side right here. So first of all, this is my old personal iPad. It is an iPad Mini 5 in gold, as you can see right here. I'll go and unlock it. And it has some issues with it. It's unlocked from AT&T, has UBG. Well, iPads are unlocked, but the eSIM is also unlocked. We go to settings and about, as you can see, it's on iOS 17. Or iPadOS 17.2, and it is a 256GB model, which is cool. Unfortunately, it does have a bad battery where it will boot loop. Sometimes the OS will corrupt, won't turn on, so it has to be plugged to a charger 24/7. And if it's fully charged and you unplug it, sometimes, like now, it's fine. Other times it'll just boot loop and go crazy and crash and go 10%, 20, 90, 100. It's crazy. Other than that, it works fine. So yeah, it's a good iPad. So it's unplugged right now, which of course won't do anything, but it would do it. So next up, here we have this iPad Mini 2, as you can see right here, which is completely obliterated. I will not be having this for much longer, but you can see it is completely obliterated. Just see, like, that does that. It's a bunch of, like, you can kind of see the screen's like dying, like this really blue lights. You see, like, it is totally dead. So this thing would need a new screen. It's an iPad Mini 2. It's a 16GB unlocked on iOS 12.4.6. I mean, yeah, it would be. However, it doesn't work. It's cellular, which you kind of probably already noticed. So yeah. And last one on this shelf, this is an iPad 1 right here, on the original. It's a 32GB model. It has cellular on AT&T. However, the battery doesn't work. It's expanded. You can tell from the spots on the screen, but the battery is expanded, which is touching. But yeah, that's a long story. iPad doesn't work. Won't turn on. Hasn't turned on in like over a decade. Less than a decade, about 9 years, 8, 9, give or take. Does not work. 32GB model. Yeah, that's about it. Doesn't work, but it's a good iPad nevertheless, or it would be. Is my dad's old iPad. It would have a bunch of stuff on it, but it doesn't work. So next up, we have my personal iPad right here. As you can see, this is an iPad Mini 6th generation, which I got to replace the Mini 5 when that broke. It's on iOS 17.2, and it is a 256GB model on AT&T. Next up here we have this iPad Mini 1st generation right here, as you can see. It works totally fine. It's on iOS 9.3.5, and it is unlocked from Verizon. That's in service right now. It is jailbroken, although I have to re-jailbreak it because this is semi-tethered and this always breaks. So there's a really high chance I will be downgrading this to iOS 8 because this is really a headache. But it's on iOS 9.3.5. It's a Verizon model, 32GB, although it is dual booted with iOS 6. But yeah, I got this in 2019. It's been the last video too. Nothing special about it. And then last but not least in the iPad collection, this is an iPad Mini 2 as well, but this thing has a big backstory. Here we go, get it on. So yes, here it is. Go and unlock it. Maybe. Nope. So here it is. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's my iPad Mini 2 right here. As you can see, it's not really that fine. As you can see, it's currently on AT&T, in active service at least in that regard. And it shows bars, and you see this is a really weird LTE logo I noticed, but yeah. I mean, other than that, it's fine. It's an iPad Mini 2, so it has a replacement screen with really shadow screen protector that will not come off the life of it. I don't know why it just locked like that. This iPad is so weird. It's on iOS 12.4.6 and is a 32GB model. You see, like, it does stuff like that, but then won't turn off, so I don't know. Yeah, and that is basically the whole iPad collection. So now we're going to move on to iPod We're going to go to iPod Music and that kind of stuff. Along with other accessories. Alright, here we have the iPods now. Let's go start with this first one, which is kind of special. Not really, though. This is an iPod Touch 2, or not Touch, this is an iPod Nano 2nd gen, although it is in really, really good condition. It basically was never used in its entire lifetime. In fact, it actually stays in a bag. This is a really immaculate iPod, in my opinion. Unfortunately, the battery doesn't work, however, so it has to be plugged in order to work, which might start the cost of an expanding battery, because I have not turned this on since the last video, which was over, 2 years ago. Which is fine, the battery doesn't work anywho. It doesn't hold a charge. So as you can see right here, this is kind of cool. It's on iPod firmware 1.1.1, which might be the earliest. It's a 2GB model, has literally nothing on it. And yeah, the battery doesn't work, so I mean, we can play. What we can do on this right now, at least, is just play brick with the charger. Oh yeah, and then if you unplug it, boom, it dies. But just leave stuff on the screen, which I can't probably notice, which is interesting, but that's okay. Next up, here we have my first ever Apple product. This is another iPod Nano 2nd generation right here, as you can see. And this one is, oh, that's not where I want to go. This is on version 1.1.3, because out of beer sex, I added a passcode to it. I know, how fun. I have 56 songs on it, and it's a 4GB model, as you can see right here. It's a product brand. It's engraved on the back with Happy Sweet 16 April. I have no idea who April is, when they gave their iPod, and what. I don't remember how I even got this, man. I've had this for a long time. It's in pretty bad condition. It's rough in corners, but yeah, I've had it since I was a child, so I was not careful. And like I said, like it has songs on here, not very much. Well, these aren't really songs I listen to because like, at least from the past like 10 or so, like 5 years, I mean, I don't really buy music ever, so I mostly just like, essentially I just use Spotify these days, so yeah, put the back where it belongs. Next up, here we have this iPod Nano 5th generation right here, which you notice the 5th gen is the video camera on the back, which only the 5th gen had. It has some music on here as well, and it is on, there we go, version, how do you figure that out, 1.0.2 PC edition, I guess. It's an 8, I think it's an 8GB model, I forgot. Yeah, it's an 8GB model. Yeah, this really isn't used that often either, but it's kind of cool, I guess. You know, if you want a video camera. I don't really use iPods very often. Realistically, I'm more of a streaming music person, so more iPhones. Okay, next up, here we have this iPod Touch 2nd generation. This one's finally a touch. And it's right here. It is jailbroken, which is why you see the wallpaper on the home screen. It has some games on here too, which someone talked about, like Zuma, which is a pretty good game. I don't think it's the same one they're thinking of though, because it's not on my PopCap. This one's a PopCap game though. But yeah, it is jailbroken on iOS 4.2.1. Also, I'm aware that some devices you can downgrade. I just chose not to, or I just don't care to. This is one of the situations I just don't want to, because I don't really have the time or patience to. It's an iPod Touch 2G, iOS 4.2.1, 8GB model. And also, this is an MV model. This one is more highly jailbreakable. You can tell it becomes the bigger storage. I think which is the main difference is from that. But it also is just more highly jailbreakable. You can do more stuff with that in that regard. So yeah, it's nice. I don't really use it very often. There's like some songs on here. The battery's The condition's also but I mean, hey, it's not that bad for an iPod Touch. Next up, here we have this iPod Touch 4th generation on iOS 6.1.6. Has some stuff on here. I barely touched this, honestly. This is the iPod I don't like the most. I barely use it, I barely touch it. It's on 6.1.6. It's an 8GB model. Refuses to sync with iTunes, so I can't get anything on here. The back's in really rough condition. But I mean, yeah, it's not that bad. It's fine, I just don't care about it, realistically. But yeah, oops, I don't know what I just opened. But yeah. Last but not least, I have this iPod Touch 5th generation, which has no video camera, so this was sold in like 2013. This one is kind of cool, in my opinion at least. It is jailbroken on iOS 8.1.3, so not downgraded 8.4.1, which is really nice, because when I got this, or when I bought this, I was going to actually just downgrade it anyway. But yeah, it's on iOS 8.1.3, it's a 16GB model, but it is dual boot, well, it's only 16GB. It is, however, dual booted with iOS 6, which is kind of cool. I don't really use it ever. It was only had one version of iOS 6 available, so that's what it has. It's a 16GB model, no camera. These things are really interesting. And all my iPod Touches I did get from the obsolete. Get this in the description. They're kind of cool. They're good people. But yeah, so it has a dual boot iOS 6. But yeah. Next up, we're gonna go for headphones, and I'll show that off in a minute. For starters, here we have Beats. These are some Beats Power Beats Wireless, and I'm only including these because Apple does own Beats now. So these are just some headphones I use with my AirPods, but both my AirPods are dead, so not very often. And yet again, here we go. It's on iOS 6, nothing special about it, although since it only has front-facing camera, it's the first one it came with, so you can say hello to my iPhone. It's kind of fast because it's, again, iOS 6, which is kind of cool, but it's fine. I mean, I don't really use it that often either. This is my personal favorite iPod Touch out of the 3, which is not very much. So next up here we have these AirPod 2s right here, as you can see in their case. These are my old AirPods. I gave them up a while ago because it probably sucks and the mesh is also gone. So yeah, I mean, they're fine. My AirPod Pros are dead, which is where we leave now. These are AirPod Pros with Lightning. So these are the older ones before USB-C, but they work really fine. I love these AirPods. The case is in fine condition. I wouldn't say it's good in that regard, but I mean, hey, it works. So that's pretty good. And those are the music. That is the music collection. Up here we have the accessories, other Apple device collection right here. This is where basically we get to the boring part. Although the one thing that is not very boring, this is my M1 MacBook Air. This isn't the personal one. I saved up for about a year to buy. I have a video unboxing it. No one ever watched it, but that's okay. It's right here. This is my MacBook Air. It runs Mac OS Sonoma. It's my personal main MacBook. I love it. I use it for everything. I use it for school, video editing, although it has taken quite a big chunk, quite literally, from school, being in my backpack. Kids are not careful with it. I'm saying kids because most of these were from people who just showed me my backpack, because, yeah, it's a long story. But yeah, has Apple Care, 8 gigabyte, 250 gigabytes of storage, and space is gray. It's pretty good. It stays on a Rain Design M stand, which is really good. So yeah, moving out of the way. Next up, here we have this Apple Watch Series 3. It is a space gray, 42 millimeter in aluminum. So it's Series 3, like I said. It's on Watch OS 8.7.1, which might be the latest. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. I don't remember. And the battery health on this device is 96%, and the MacBook Air has an 87% battery health. Then I also didn't show that. I also am wearing this. This is my Apple Watch Series 7, 41 millimeter stainless steel with cellular, 41 millimeter. It has an Abyss Blue Band. That one has some Midnight Band from an SE2 watch. But yeah. So here's my personal Apple Watch. I love it. Series 7, it's on Watch OS 10.2, 32 gigabytes, which the rest are. However, the battery health is really on its peak way out. It is currently at 80% battery health. It's on AT&T for cellular, at least in that regard. But it works. I love this Apple Watch. I have the always on display on. It's nice. Next up, we have this Apple Pencil first generation right here. It's an Apple Pencil. Nothing special about it. Next up, we have AirTags. Now, for Christmas, I got a bunch of AirTags, which I'm thankful for. So we got 8, at least in these boxes. Well, 7 in these boxes. I have another AirTag that's in a suitcase somewhere. I have no idea where it's at. This is an AirTag that we're going to put on that's going to go on our dog at some point, but we never did, so it lives in a drawer right now. One of these AirTags is currently on my backpack for school. This one's a sealed one. This one, I think, silver one, yes. But yes, like, these are just AirTags in here, as you can see. That's interesting, nice. Because, AirTags are really good. I like AirTags. Besides the actual, tracking people part, but I understand the concept of them. They're pretty good. Next up, here we have some dongles right here, which we have this SD card Lightning. Since I do photography now, my parents got me this adapter for Christmas to be able to view stuff on my iPhone easier, which is pretty cool. And then I just found this a few hours ago, this Lightning, the 3.2 headphone adapter. And I have way more adapters. I can talk about this for days with Lightning cables, Apple Watch chargers, bricks, and on and on. But yeah, these are just 2 actual accessories. Next up here we have this Apple TV or iMac aluminum remote right here, which I just have. Literally nothing special about it, I just got a remote. And this is an Apple TV 4K 3rd edition USB-C remote right here, serial remote. And that leads to my personal, gosh. No, it's gonna be kind of blurry, kind of shaky. This leads to my Apple TV 4K right here, as you can see. Sorry for the shaky camera right now. I'm holding my phone and stabilization is not very good. It is a 120 gigabyte model Apple TV 4K 3rd generation on TV OS 17.2. I got this for Christmas as well, and it's really nice. It's a good Apple TV to replace my old Fire Stick. So yeah, that's my Apple TV. Whole like next by next, but I'm kind of running out of time. It's been a really long video, so I'm gonna quickly go through the Apple boxes. The iPhone XR blue, iPhone XR yellow, iPhone 14 Pro space black or silver, has everything in it. Deep purple 14 Pro space black, iPad Mini 6 box, iPad Mini 5, Mini 5, iPad Air 5th generation, AirPod Pro 2s, iPhone 4 box for my iPhone 4 CDMA, this is its original box. Then iPhone 5S box, iPhone SE 2 box, iPhone 10 box, for this one's for the iPhone 10, the yellow box and blue box for those phones, and so is the iPads, but yeah. iPhone 10 box, another iPhone 10 box, Lightning to SD adapter. This I'm only including as my case. This was an Apple exclusive case. That's why this is in the box. This is an Apple Watch Series 9 box, which has the band in it still and charger. Not the charger. This is my Apple Watch Series 7 box with my personal Apple Watch, which I got a while ago. Apple TV 4K box, the one with Ethernet. Last one is my MacBook Air. So yes, that is my entire Apple collection. So you got remote, iPads, everything like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below if you want to know more about the devices so I can make entire videos on them. And thanks for watching. Bye.